Okay.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Evony with Genghis. So we have a special interview today with a longtime player, started on server 12, I think it is, with the famous IFT Alliance. And anyways, he's been playing a long time and wants to help people out with their growth, get them on the right path. Lots of people waste lots of money in the game. And I used to do this. I used to have lots of people hit me up and I'd help them out growing their keeps. I really don't have time for it. I think this is an excellent opportunity for someone else who wants to step up in the community. And this is player named Thoth. And like I said, he's been playing a long time. And this is the first time that I've seen someone actually create a website, services on it, everything on there. You guys can check it out. I have it here as we go through this interview and I discuss with the player, give you guys a little bit more confidence in his abilities to help you out. We'll browse around the website and show you different things on it. It's also linked in the description to the video. So welcome, Thoth. Am I saying it correctly?
Yes, sir. Thoth.
All right, awesome. What made you choose
And for
that
those who
name?
want to know where, yeah, I was just about to get into that, the inspiration, right? So, Thoth, the Egyptian god, god of wisdom, kind of where I've always gone with my video games. I like Cerberus or Anubis or those kind of names. So, just kind of picking out of the deities of the gods, and me being very knowledgeable, I've always wanted to learn things and then share that. So, Thoth was like the perfect name for me.
Awesome. And maybe one day it'll be an enemy, a boss in Evony, like Cerberus you just mentioned.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, so was I right there? You started on server 12. It was IFT Alliance, one of the original alliances, probably the first one that started to actually rally hive, like set up a hive in Battlefield and attack people. That's correct?
Yeah, yeah. So before it was server 12, it was server 54. Um I quit, and then I took like a 3 year break, and then I guess it got the merge with server 12. But before it was IFT, it was GFY, go F yourself. Classic, Ebony attitude for all of us ego players. But yeah, yeah, server 54, server 12 now.
Yeah, especially back in the day before server war and stuff, where it really was like, go F yourself on my server and we just fight every day, all day.
Yep, all the time. Internal conflicts. I'd never heard of a NAP server. Like, we were always fighting internally. So
Yeah, I don't think Naps really existed until like maybe C3 came along or C4. There wasn't very many servers that got along like that.
yep, yep.
So can you tell us a little bit about the purpose of the website? And I'm just gonna kind of dig through here, and in the background it'll be playing. So go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So kind of a two-parter, right? First reason, I wanted to help out the Ebony community, right? Provide a way for people to reach out and ask for assistance to make their keeps more formidable. None of us have fun with a 5 to 10 minute battlefield. The real fun are those 2 hour long sessions where at the end you felt like you just played your heart out. So, in order to make that happen more often, the community needs some kind of trustworthy source to go and ask for that kind of assistance. I don't spend a ton of money. I have to coin the game very strategically. I look through everything, to find any buff or debuff that I can, and learn in my like hunts or my analysis on where I can improve. Then I've done this so much with my own keep. I just want to kind of take that learned knowledge and now start sharing it with people, right? To kind of put this in a better way too. This isn't advice based. I'm mainly looking for those nooks and crannies deep in the game that maybe you missed something. Maybe a second pair of eyes would help because you didn't see that before. I like For me, for instance, within my alliance, people have noticed I had a beast on my assistant wall gen, which doesn't do anything for you. Stupid mistake on my part, but having that second pair of eyes really helped me out. So me having so much knowledge with the game and working with so many different amazing players within the community, I think I have a good and decent, unique understanding, which enables me to offer this resource. So I did that, and I have built a website to kind of go that extra mile with it. So another piece of this is I will be a lot better than the customer service we have seen with Evony itself. I think we can all agree on that. We get the same turnaround of, oh, I'm so sorry for the inconvenience, my liege, and then we just get stonewalled and we don't get anywhere with CS. That is not going to be my style. I'm going to be very lenient, very flexible, and helping you guys as much as I can. And then the second part, as I said, this is a two-parter. I'm a human being. This is an expensive habit, so it will help me, pay for my habit in this game.
Yeah, and your prices are very reasonable. I see what they are because things like your blazing service, $100, like that's things that take like hours and hours to do and go through
Yep.
and to understand. And funny, you said that people noticed you have a spiritual beast and just the little mistakes you can make. I just noticed this morning, my blue dragon, it's not attached to anything. One of my dragons is just sitting there. I remember removing it a long time
Mm.
ago and just forgot to put it back on where it used to be. So one thing I like about your service is you are medium low coiner. You're not, royal caking every event, that sort of stuff. So you have sort of like an everyday player, average player perspective from the game. It's not just, well, if you want to be better, you have to coin harder. So it's basically, you do have to spend a little bit, but it's play
Yep.
smarter
Yep.
type advice.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think in this past year, so I started back up in February, and I have caked, I want to say 4 times since then. And that's with the Aptoids and buying cakes from either you in the community or using an alliance members like Aptoid benefits where they get the 25% off. So I'm not paying the 2,000 fully, right? I'm getting for my 4 cakes, I think I've dropped right around 5 to 6,000.
Yeah, so like a max Aptoid discount type thing.
Hmm.
One thing that lots of people do would want to ask you about here, I assume, and would have concerns is do you have to log into their account? Tell us about that, your trustworthiness, etc.
Yeah, so my first service, which is like a keep review, I have like a list of I think 23 items is what I'm at now. And we can do this 2 ways. Either you get on call with me via Discord, you can share your screen and we can go through your keep that way, or you can provide the logins and I will write up an extensive report going through those line items and telling you like my suggestion on how I think or where you can get more buffs or debuffs and laying those out for you to do yourself. That service, that particular one, the first one, that keep review, that is not me touching anything other than just looking around. I'm not going to use items. I'm not going to change gear pieces for you. None of that. It's strictly informative. And that'll kind of lead into like the trustworthy piece as well. I know for a lot of people, especially in the Ebony community, they get scammed. So sharing logs isn't something that everybody's comfortable with, and I am completely aware of that. So, building that trust first and being able to do something like that service before I go into something like your Blazons and you establish that, relationship with me prior, I think that's the perfect way into the door, getting your toes wet, and then, letting me gain your trust and then work on your keep for you.
Yeah, and one thing that you said that I really like that I used to do when I used to help people with their keeps was I wouldn't change anything. I would make a video for them. I'd tell them what to change because I want them to actually do it and appreciate it. And that's part of the fun thing in the game is actually doing it and seeing the buffs go up yourself rather than plus they learn that way.
Exactly.
I don't think they learn if they just, hey, here's your keep, go press attack.
Exactly. I completely agree.
So what do you think? Looking at Evany, like, what do you think would be like the biggest flaw in the game? Areas that you can improve on. People make mistakes.
So I think we can all agree it's either the horrendous lag or the crappy servers or their poor customer service. That's probably the worst part about Ebony. Um, yeah, could you repeat the second part? I didn't catch the second part.
What do you think that people could like the most common problem that people have that you've experienced when helping people out? Where to correct them?
Honestly, it's a personality trait thing. Like people don't like to be told they're wrong, or they don't like told that they're doing something in an incorrect way, or not the common way. So I think just being able to find people with a little bit of humility and humbleness is probably the hardest part, the biggest part to overcome. Because the ego is a big thing in this game. A lot of people put a lot of money into it, and they expect like, oh, I didn't waste my money, right? I know what I'm doing, kind of mindset. And I'm not here to, challenge you or make you feel insignificant or small or anything like that. It's strictly informative, how I think, or where I think you can improve within your keep. It's unbiased. I prefer so like if meet you on the battlefield, that I'm gonna have a good time because you have a solid defense or a solid offense. I'm gonna have more fun that way than just hitting you once and the battlefield being over.
Yeah, that's funny. You made me laugh when you were saying the first part of that because I just had all these visions in my head of things I know I should correct on my keep, but it's like I'm so invested in a certain style and I'm like, whatever.
Hmm.
Like I
Yep.
put in the work for this certain thing, I put in the money for it. I'm not changing it, even though like there are something, nothing major, but there are things that I know could be improved, and they add up if there's a lot of them that you're just
Hmm.
so stubborn on.
And another thing, another big issue is like general jumping. Like people will, okay, I'm going to do this gen, and then another general comes out, and then they're automatically trying to switch to this new general. You can't do that with this game. Like they come out with a general every 2 weeks. So when you pick your generals, it needs to be for the long haul. Make sure that you can work and build that general up. And it needs to be good for a year, maybe a year and a half, depending on how much you're spending on the game.
Yeah, so I was just talking about that with someone earlier today. I think that's the biggest flaw in Evony is how they continue to just dilute past generals. It's like every 3 months you're down like 80% on a type of class general.
Yep. It's terrible. I cannot stand it. It's just especially the cabgens. Like there's so many cabgens. I don't know which one to go to anymore.
Me neither. I was just so let's talk about that. Give some people some confidence in your ability. So, what do you think is the best Cav general right now? I'm still running Napoleon Prime with Messina, but I'm really looking at
Hmm.
option. Like I'm stuck with Napoleon Prime. He's maxed out. He's ascended. Everything. I've
Yep.
done everything. I'm in love with him. It's one of those stubborn things. But the assistant Messina, I keep looking at Washington Prime and Marco Polo, and what can I do?
Right. So for me, I'm running Washington Prime as assistant with Napoleon Prime, and that's the combination I'm running. It's cool that they are both primes. They get to match whatever. However, I do think the best current cab general is probably Marco Polo. I see a lot of like the bigger alliances are utilizing him, and they have disgusting buffs with that general. But then again, they have so much more on the back end. Their Senate seats, are fully ascended. They've got these civilization cards fully decked out. They may have like level 8 treasures. So granted, those might factor into it, but um, I think Marco Polo is probably the best right now. And as far as assistant goes, man, assistants can be so flexible.
Yeah, it's
I
who you
think
have, who gives you the march size, a lot of different
exactly. It's
factors
just
in it.
and then what pairs up with him? You have to know that. Like, okay, well, Marco Polo, maybe he doesn't, pair with the Napoleon Prime or the Washington Prime. So he maybe you don't get this buff or that buff, and balancing all that out. But the cool thing is, I know in like your Discord, people post this all over the place. You can go on like Red Evany's YouTube, or they show you all these combinations. So when it comes down to it, it's ultimately what can you afford to put resources into the game. So if you've determined, okay, I'm going to go Napoleon Prime. All right, how do you get Napoleon Prime? Is he only in the Glory Scrolls? How do you get Glory Scrolls? Okay, Glory Scrolls are only available in the $100 pack. So understanding like, okay, if I'm going to build up him, I'm going to have a percentage chance when I buy those glory scrolls to even roll him. So how many of those am I going to need? And then you got to factor out and math it all out on how much you're willing to spend to build that general up.
Yeah, so you mentioned my Discord, and glad you did. So I have a section in there for you where people can contact you, just like I have in there for PC building with Frank the Tank. And
Oh, awesome.
yes, and then of course your website that I have linked in the description to the video as well. So what is your favorite part of Evony, as we all like to just bash the game?
So without a doubt, it's the people I play with. Honestly, hopping on and doing Battlefield or SVS with a team and just laughing, either when you screw up or they screw up and somebody splats, both ways, right? It's fun. I've splatted a lot trying to solo keeps that are just I don't learn my lesson with T1 Cav. I just for some reason I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna hit it. Maybe I'm better now. Because I'm doing all this work on my keep and like one of these days I'm gonna clear it. But just the people, right? Being able to laugh and have a good time. I think people get too into their feelings with the game. It is just a game. And if you're not surrounded by people that you are actually having a good time with, you're just wasting your time.
Yeah, I think almost everybody would say the community for sure. And then one of the worst parts is explaining the community to people who don't play the game, like wife or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So, last question, and then let you say anything else you want. So, who are people that you learned from in the game? Your mentors?
Oh yeah. So quite a few actually. Some may not be around anymore, but my original server gets a lot of the credit for teaching me the game. And so Ghost, Longhorn, Iceman, Conan, even though I hated Conan, he still taught me a lot with his crazy like science experiments that he would try to do with us. Janky and Jim Sack. So all them dudes, great people, taught me everything about the game. Some of them would scold me when I would mess up in the game and lose a server versus server or whatever. I'm not the perfect player either. I still make mistakes, but yeah, a lot of mentors.
Yeah, I recognize lots of those names. Lots. Some are still playing. Some are the longtime stakeholders in the game. Some of the greatest players. So, anything else you want to say to the community?
Yeah, yeah. So to sum up Evany, if you don't have the wallet to buy it all, the only way to compete is to prioritize. So knowing your next steps and how to get there at a steady pace is crucial, and that's what I'm here to help with.
All right, awesome. So you can find Thoth in my Discord in a special section in there where it'll be Thoth's workshop, and get in touch with him, and spending a little bit of money in this game to get some advice, especially early on, and set you on the right path. I know so many mistakes I made in the first 6 months when I first started playing, that like if I could have just paid $100 and got on that path, I would have advanced my knowledge and my direct path in the game. Like in 1 month, I would have been where I was in a year and a half or 2 years, maybe even where I'm not even right now. So I might hit you up on it on my own. So thank you very much. And we'll end it here. So like, subscribe, leave a comment.